Good morning, afternoon, whatever time you're watching this video. I gotta come up with a new intro. But last time you guys saw us, we were in Canada for the LZ World Tour. It was incredible. It was probably some of the best driving I've ever done. And honestly, it was an immense amount of seat time. And it was just a blast. If you guys came, I hope you enjoyed yourself. It seemed like everyone had an amazing time. The energy in Canada was just different.
It's unreal. I was blown away by the love we had in Canada.
I wasn't ready for it. I really wasn't ready.
I wasn't expecting it, no. It was sick.
It was sick. So Canada, we love you. Thank you so much for being so hospitality. What's the fucking?
Thank you for the hospitality.
Thank you for the hospitality. You guys were sick, and last time.
Tell them about where you got to drive Monday.
We got to drive at Shannonville on Monday with the boys. It was sick. But of course, as you guys remember, the first day we were there, I blew up the E36. This thing just loves to eat engines. This is the third engine in this car. I never blow up engines, but I've only blown up engines in this car. Well, I guess that we blew up the JZ in the coupe. Whatever. So once this thing locked up, I parked it and I never looked at it. So we still had to figure out what's wrong. Did it lose oil pressure, lock up? Did it fold the rod and lock up? Who knows? We're not gonna make assumptions just yet. We'll get to it at the end of the week. I know a lot of guys are yelling at me, you gotta go dry sump, you gotta go AccuSump. To be honest, we kept it simple. We used the same recipe that so many of my friends use on cars they've been drifting with LSs for many, many years, and who knows, all right? There's always more to do. But for today, we need to get back to work on the E36 wagon, right? This thing. We started it before we left for Canada, and now we have some time before we leave for the next trip, and I wanna get this thing running. We took out the 4-cylinder that was in there, and then we threw in the turbo S50 drivetrain we had from the E36 prior right into the car. We got it bolted in before we left for Canada. Like literally did this an hour before we put the cars on trail and left. And now it's time to finish this up. I want to hear this thing run. It did come out of a running car, but there is a lot that we want to change. And so it's going to be quite a bit of work, but we got it. So for now, let's get to it. What are you working on first?
Might be easier just to remake the downpipe from scratch.
Yeah, because we had that right-hand drive downpipe, but it made things really intrusive.
Yeah, we would have to cut the battery tray out, and I don't want to do that.
Yeah, we're trying to keep this thing simple.
Very simple.
Very simple.
Cut all the brackets off. They were in the way. We'll touch that up later.
Yeah. I know this one's weird for us. I'm like RTV and gaskets that I probably should have just bought new gaskets for. Like not repainting the bay. We're just trying to make it work. We're just trying to have a good time with this. We're trying to keep I'm trying to keep my mental overhead low on this one.
It's a good way to put it. I like that.
One thing that I have to do first is coolant lines, because before it was in a drift car. There was no heat. It was just basically water out of the engine, straight to the radiator, straight back in. So we're gonna try and bounce this back around so we can get heat in the car. And of course, we got new everything because crusty old coolant lines isn't fun. So if you look at the E36, we have a bunch of coolant ports. We have this little bridge right here, which is 1, 2, 3. We have 1, 2, 3 into the heater core, and then one in the back, one in the front, and then one to the front. So let's see if I can remember which way they go. Boom, fresh hoses, feeling good. One thing off the list. What are you doing?
I'm cutting it.
What are you doing?
Just gonna cut it.
I feel like I need to hang that on the wall. It's just like a,
nope.
Oh, Jesus.
No mercy.
Justin, I'm sorry. You could yell at Spoon.
You're gonna eyeball it.
All that close? Justin, we're sorry. That pipe did us good for, Spoon said he's not. That thing has done us good for a long time. Time to change things up.
Boom! That's all I need.
Good riddance, right? How's this thing looking? A little different than the right-hand drive one, huh? I think it looks sick with it just kicked straight back like that. That's kind of crazy. Maybe we'll go out the hood on this one?
No. Street car.
Wow, this is the first time I've ever heard something like that from you. I thought you'd be like, yeah, let's go with the fender.
Oh, see, I like practical things. On race cars, yeah, out the hood, out the fender, sure. Street car, no.
I know, but sometimes being overly practical on street car is kind of sick. The turbo on, pain in the ass, happy that's done. So I think it's time I could finally put the intake on. And that makes it look way more complete than it actually is, but we're getting somewhere. So while Spoon works on the downpipe, I'm gonna work on the next part, and that is the wiring. I wanna get most of this in place before we put the intake on, because once the intake is on, it is a pain in the ass to get underneath it, so. This.
Are you gonna reuse the factory piece that goes up top?
I'm gonna try to. I gotta run this first, right? Because this is an OBD1 M52 or M50. This is an OBD1 M50 harness that I modified and like simplified and made it work in the right-hand drive chassis. So it should plug in. I might just have to move some things around. They reused the same plug like 4 times. So like the IAC, the cam angle sensor, the crank sensor, like 4 plugs that say are the same thing. Come on, BMW, change your plugs. Electrical tape on some of them, yeah, seat cam. There's like 7 3-pin connectors in here that are all the same. Look at that. Here, there, that's not in your way, right? That's not in your way. You're good, right?
I'll make it work.
We'll make it work. Give me a minute. And it's all there. It looks like a mess, but everything's plugged in, happy, ran healthy. Everything's gonna work. I don't have to really like pull anything out of the harness. The right-hand drive setup was just long enough to flip back to left-hand drive setup because this is originally left-hand drive harness. And Spoon's downpipe is looking pretty cool. I really like this whole kick straight back style. I feel like everyone tries to like snake it in too early, but that looks good.
No, biggest thing that's bothering me is just trying to have it follow the head.
It looks sick though. And to hide all this nonsense and make it look all complete, it's super easy. Ready? Boom, everything's on. It fits great. It's a little tight with the left-hand drive because now we have the brake booster over here and then we have the ABS, which I am tempted to delete. So it definitely is more clustered left-hand drive, but it's not bad. Like having the intake on, everything plugged in makes this look so much more complete. And honestly, I gotta do new fuel lines and hook up the battery, and it kind of probably would start after I do some fluids, but I'm gonna wait until we have this thing a little more hooked up before we have it started. But Spoon has the downpipe all mocked up. It's all tacked in. It looks pretty cool. Like I said, I'm usually used to people like just coming straight down, and I get it. They want to get away from the valve cover, but having something that like kind of linearly, but having something that actually goes straight back with the engine is visibly very, very pleasing. We'll be heat wrapping that, so of course our heat management will be under control. I'll make a cover for this. I'm not too worried about it, but for now we're getting somewhere, and I love to see it. The aura of the wagon is changing quickly. Look at that thing. This one's gonna be good. This one's gonna be very cool. This engine's a lot cooler in this thing than in the right-hand drive one.
1J would be cooler.
Yeah, but no, this looks like so at home in here. Like this looks so perfectly cool and normal. We gotta have flavors, all right? We gotta have flavors on here. We have like one of every engine at this point. We gotta have a turbo BMW engine. Fine.
Sometimes maybe good, sometimes maybe shit.
Usually pretty good.
Maybe shit.
Shut up. Yeah, we're gonna have juicy welds.
Nah.
I love the simplicity of it. It's good.
Not on it today.
Yeah,
like shit.
No. You know what's sick about that? It's gonna be heat wrapped.
You ain't gonna see it.
I'll make that thing together. I'll be mint. All right, so we're trying to get the drivetrain locked up. We have the small case rear end in it right now, which will grenade into smithereens once we start making some power. But
Be fun.
it'll be fun. We have an M3 diff for it, but we have to drop the subframe and we have to reinforce the chassis. We have to do all of that.
Yeah, the whole subframe's gotta come back on.
The whole rear end's gonna be done, but we want to get the thing running and driving first. And we're gonna quickly do that by hopefully just reusing
The back half.
the back
half.
Yeah, because it's longer, which I'm assuming is because the smaller diff. But the front half should work.
Power would blow that drive shaft up?
No,
Not the drive shaft, the diff.
The diff, it should literally grenade into smithereens. Drive shaft in, then we can get the old exhaust in, which this is the exhaust out of the drift car. So we're gonna put a muffler on it.
That was originally on it.
That used to be on it, so
Yeah.
and then we wanted it louder for the drift car, but now it's gonna be in a street car, so we want it quiet again, so we're putting a little vibrant tool tip on there.
So we're gonna put that on to finish the downpipe.
Because that's gonna mock up the length. And then, yeah, I gotta make some fuel lines. We're getting somewhere.
Start today. By the time I finish the exhaust, you can do the fuel system.
Yep, and then I gotta finish up some wires, and technically it should run. Theoretically.
I want to hear this thing from the office.
Yeah, you want with that muffler,
Yeah,
baby.
exactly.
Or do we leave it straight pipes? Maybe some blast pipes?
No. Stop. Stop.
I like finding Spoon's boundaries here. We're learning. Good technique.
That's actually working pretty good.
You got hardware?
Yeah.
I'm gonna be honest with you guys. I have no idea if this engine's still good. I think it is. Very. He's like, where's spin away? I'm like, I don't even know if this engine's fine, but you know it is like. It was very obvious that it was hurt in the top end. We replaced the top end. Piston had a little chunk out of it. Not a big chunk. Sanded it smooth. Walls look fine. Everything looks fine.
Yeah, we do have a 1J in the back that just needs a valve.
Yeah, but then you need all the stuff around the 1J.
Too much negativity.
I'm trying to keep the pallet array large here,
just saying if it's bad. That's all I'm saying. If.
I'd rather put an RV in it at this point.
No, we have a car for that.
Because I have an RV30 sitting over there just staring at me like.
We have a car for that.
We have half a car for that.
I can't wait till you leave for Ireland so I can just get that thing done.
You know, we've been so flat out. Like, you know, we started that and we were gung ho. Like, I got everything ready for the spot. We had everything planned out to bang that project out quick. It was supposed to be a quick project. It was supposed to be a quick project. And look at the strut towers are out of it, and we've just been on a trip every weekend for the last.
Everything's great.
Everything is great. Like this motor, it's great. So we also forgot to make a point about the name of the wagon. We talked about this, and the last time we filmed this car, I said we need to come. There's a name.
I didn't know that.
The men have spoke. The children, the ladies, whatever commented on this. Most liked name, there's a lot of good ones, was the Volkswagen. Smooth because it's kind of like a playoff of Volkswagen.
Volkswagen.
Okay.
It's easy. It's simple. When you think about like the playoff of the Volkswagen, you kind of killed it.
Let me put it that way, yeah.
Volkswagen. I was hoping something more dirty.
Yeah.
Yeah, Volkswagen. It's clean. FJE46, we owe you a t-shirt. All right, I saw a TikTok where they were testing grip strength in the shop with a torque wrench. Spoon, you first.
Well, I gotta be first.
All right, come here, come here. Here, hold on, let me assume position for you. There we go, ready?
There we go. That's perfect.
Oh, maxed out quick. Hold up. Let me raise this thing
You
up.
heard that? Maxed out.
All right. Carter got 12.6 foot-pounds. Pretty good, man. Oh, damn. 16.16. Oh, shit. Steve got 17.2. Oh, Jesus. RJ. Holy fuck. Hold on. Jesus. RJ. I gotta like. Oh, Jesus. Fuck, dude. 20. Jesus, Arch.
To be fair, he be gripping twice a day. I know that.
That is true. RJ does rock climb.
Oh yeah.
My sweaty hand. Damn it.
19.5.
Fuck. I know my sweaty ass hands would be dirty. Yeah, we're good. We're good.
His hands are so sweaty.
Man needs to be more gripping.
My hands are so sweaty.
Well, boys, RJ's the king gripper of the shop. Woo! I don't know how I feel about that. RJ's the king gripper.
RJ is gripped up.
RJ's got that Volino R grip. I'm gonna try it again. Come back for seconds. Fuck. Alright, I just ran to the hydraulic store to piece together a high pressure hydraulic line. It's not the prettiest thing in the world, but it kind of goes up and around the sway bar. It works. These are meant for forklifts. We have a place in town that crimps them, but if you don't get the angle perfect, they're so rigid, it's such a pain in the ass. But we have power steering now. Everything's hooked up. I did all the fuel lines real quick while Spoon's been working on the exhaust. Nothing super exciting. We're trying to keep this simple, so I'm going to use an OEM fuel lines, OEM fuel filter location. I put everything back to barb on the fuel system, so essentially it's like factory fuel system with a D-Works pump, D-Works regulator, and D-Works injectors. Simple. We are a little low on supplies, and Spoon's trying to make something work for the exhaust. So as you can tell, he just has all these scraps from other projects, and we got to connect this to here with a flex in it. So looks like he's doing something. That looks legit to me. I don't know what the hell he's doing, but Spoon, he'll figure it out. Once the exhaust is on, if I didn't mess anything up, push a couple buttons and it should run. Don't ask. pass the wheel.
This is one I don't care about.
I got this. Let me show Spoon how this is done.
Amps are low, so you can just take your time.
Just let it bark. Jimmy Spoons. This is left hand, right?
Just whatever you're most comfortable with. I'm righty, so I normally hold the torch with my right and feed with my left.
I don't know how you feed and do it. The people who could feed and do it at the same time.
Yeah, I can't do it. I just hold it and just fucking.
So those fabricators out there that could feed consistently and just not lift the arc. Gangster.
See,
How far away should I be from the puddle?
pretty close.
Pretty close. I'm gonna touch it and be pissed.
That's the shit. That's the shitty part.
Oh, I touched it. I thought I was better at this. There we go. There we go.
Too much angle on your torch. Hey, back off if you need to.
No. How do you guys do this?
It takes practice.
Fat dimes. That's too much heat, huh?
Yeah, a little too much. You gotta move a little faster.
You know what it is? I'm so scared to touch this with this.
Well, you already have.
It like needs to.
No, it doesn't.
Feels like I need to.
It's already balled at the end.
Well, I'm gonna f it up again, so.
Well, the thing is, when you have a dirty tip, pause. Your arc tends to wander.
Oh yeah.
So you don't have a consistent puddle. That's why you're constantly sharpening your tungsten. You notice that your arc is wandering.
Yeah, that thing's everywhere right now.
Yeah, it's because your tungsten's not sharp.
The hardest thing is not touching the tip to the metal. I mean, that thing ain't going nowhere.
Nah, it's not going anywhere.
I know a guy that could do it cheaper.
You're that guy.
I'm that guy. But I ain't cheating. Well, that guy said,
But I ain't cheating.
I ain't cheating.
We all watched Jim struggle. I want to say thank you to all the guys that came up to me in Canada and thanked me that they started welding or wanted to start welding because of me. That meant a lot. Thank you.
I could definitely see how, like, just seat time will get you right.
Oh yeah. Here, give them this helmet.
But it's nice though, you could see the puddle like move, and you can like push the puddle with this. You just got a filler with this. Simple, man. So simple. You've definitely done that.
Get comfortable. I mean, that torch is not supposed to do that, but if you want to buy me a flex head torch, I'm all for it.
It's not a flex head torch? My bad. I thought they all were.
No, I need a new one. Can I put it on the company card? Jim could do it. You could do it.
What was that supposed to mean?
Nothing.
I didn't go nowhere, right? It's not bad. The hardest part is one, if the tungsten isn't clean, it's all over the fucking place. I guess you're right. So, I mean,
Very important.
I didn't doubt you, but like by the end, I realized how important a sharp tungsten is, and finding timing when to fill,
Dip and move.
to dip and move is the hardest part. Like you could wash the puddle and you could push it around to blend the two, like no problem. It's just like MIG welding when you just kind of blend the two metals together. But it's just when to use the filler on.
It's all seat time.
All seat time. Good penetration.
That's it. Can't afford a fancy tungsten sharpener?
Spoon, you're hiding my beautiful welds.
You know what's funny? The only ones you are gonna see are yours.
Holy stuff. They're still better than welds I've seen.
No, for sure.
Jim on the MIG.
Jim on the TIG.
Jim on the TIG, for real?
I can make up a storm, but TIG,
Different story.
I'm getting there.
Yeah, it's alright. Now you get to Carnegie Hall. Practice.
Look at you.
Yo, now we get to start. Full exhaust.
Full exhaust, done.
Love it. Nice and quiet again. Got a muffler, a resonator, and the best muffler ever, a turbo. And let's get this thing down. Hopefully I can just plug a few wires in, and rescale for pump gas, and should start right up. If it wasn't obvious, of course, I'll be running this on a Link ECU. Link sells a plug-and-play ECU for the E36, right? So this is meant to plug into the factory plug of a OBD1 E36 harness. If your car's OBD2, you can convert to OBD1 by just swapping over the harness and a couple small things. Then the ECU will plug in and you have a full standalone ECU operating your E36. Not only do you have complete control of everything, a million major functions, it also makes life a lot easier with the diag, right? If you're on a stock ECU and you start having problems with your car, you just start throwing sensors at it and hope everything fixes it. With a standalone, you could plug in, read all your sensors, see if anything's faulting out, and get your car back on track super quick. So we're gonna plug this thing in. We have our reference for our map sensor right here because it has a 7-bar built-in map sensor. We have our expansion loom right here if we want to add in any IOs like an intake air temperature sensor, a flex fuel sensor, a pressure sensor that's not already on the engine, whatever you want to do. And we have 2 CAN channels to add any CAN control you want, from a CAN Lambda to just having a digital dash, anything you need, right, Steve?
Fish tank.
Fish tank.
No fish tanks. Jesus.
Stop sending Steve
Fish tank.
fish tank.
Fish tank headrests. It's not me.
I don't know why you get a lot of those lately. I missed something, but
It's the Mad Mike reference.
Oh,
Pimp
okay.
my ride. Link ECU, leading in the technology, leading in ECU.
we're just gonna plug this thing in for now. It doesn't look very nice right here, but we're just doing this to make sure everything works before we finalize everything. What kind of video would it be if I wasn't shoving wires places to make a car start, right? Let me just hook up my battery terminal. This looks so much sketchier than this. I'm missing one battery terminal, okay? I'll go to advanced auto parts later. We have power, baby. We're in the ECU. We're just gonna scale back the fueling since it is tuned for ethanol, which uses about 30% more fuel, right? So we'll just pull about 25% of fuel out of it, 30% of fuel out of it, and it should be good to go. You wanna check fuel pressure real quick for me?
Do I? Not really.
Can you see the little dot? You can see the gauge. Wait for it. Oh, yeah, that's, I hear fuel. What?
Do it again.
That's what fuel sounds like.
Did I put the lines on that?
That's what fuel sounds like.
50 sign, almost 60 psi.
It started. Okay, so here's the thing, right? The lifters are not bled, so it's gonna make a lot of that noise. That started right the f up.
It sounded like it was at like 3,000 RPM though.
Oh yeah, it's gonna be loud. It's gonna sound like it has rod knock because BMW lifters, they just do that. All right, so it's gonna take you're gonna sit there and we're all gonna be like, for a while. All right. It's scary because we haven't ran the engine since it blown up. So yeah, I got oil
on it.
It's got everything. It's got all the pedals. You know, it's got fuel. It just has. I hope not.
That's what it sounded like it had.
It might. You know, just put your finger over that. I can adjust the IAC. Things are different. Okay. There's no coolant, so we can't run it for long. But watch your gut there. I don't want to suck you into the serpentine belt there, Spoon. Huh. Like that. It's like that. God, that sounds awful. It'll go away. I swear to God. I swear it'll go away.
Besides the head noise, though, that sounds great.
That's next to the lifters.
Yeah, besides it'll clear up. I know it doesn't seem like a big feat, but it's still a big feat.
This thing was blown up. It is a big feat.
Hell yeah. This thing was a 318 not too long ago.
Don't worry about the smoke. That's just residue.
Alright, there should be a lot of assembly lube and stuff in the... I'm not thinking about it. Alright, it's got no coolant in it, so we can't run it for long. It's a little smoky back there. I'm not going to think about it. That'll go away. And the head's a little noisy, but every time I take one of these apart and put it back together, the head's always incredibly noisy. I don't know why it takes so long to bleed the lifters out, but good. It runs. It has compression again. Oh, thank God. But I'm out. Starts right up. Give me that one more time for the one time. But it sounds incredible. Like one thing this engine does have is it does sound really good.
Yeah.
So it's a good note, especially with the muffler on. So we have to do the whole cooling system right. We have all the hoses rated, all the stuff. Got to plumb the fan, wire the fan in, and then we have to do the intercooler piping, of course. So we got to bolt the front mount on it, run the piping. Spoon's going to redo the passenger side real quick. This is going to do a little bit different. It might just work. I don't know. We'll see. So we definitely got some work to do, but as soon as we get the cooling system on, we should be able to drive it because the whole drivetrain is now hooked up. The brakes work. It's got all the pedal. It's got a throttle cable. It's got a clutch. It's got everything. So this is very good.
It's so weird. It's all floaty and
It's gonna, oh, I cannot wait to just do pull stock suspension on these wheels. It'll keep the diff alive because it'll have no grip, or it'll grenade the diff first lap or first pass. Who knows? Just listen to the exhaust one more time, okay? Come on. Good sounding engine, right?
Yeah, it sounds great.
It's good. Well, I'm happy the engine now has compression.
It sounds like it's running on all 6 now.
That's good. Last time we ran her, she was missing one of them, but we put her back in, right? So it runs good, sounds good. Started right up. Everything's working. I couldn't be happier. So put the rest of the stuff on tomorrow, and we'll be able to do our first test drive. And I can't wait to do a test drive, like full dad spec on the out, like full grandpa spec on the outside.
Put a bumper and everything back on? It was easy to take off.
Yeah. I want to get it all back together, and I don't know if we have to dent the hood for this turbo because we dented the other hood when we had a bigger turbo on it. It might clear, it might not. What's like the opposite of paintless dent removal? Paintless dent addition?
Yep.
Paintless.
Painful dent edition.
Yeah, painful, paintless.
It's gonna hurt Aiden's feelings.
Yeah.
I already destroyed that when he killed the hood on 836. That man is scarred for life.
We'll see. It's good. I'm happy. This is good. Good car. So for now, stay excited, cause I'm fucking buzzing. That's the word of the day. But you guys know the deal. Like, comment, subscribe. Stay tuned for more content. Spoon.
Have a great night.